Ladies and gentlemen, I have a problem with Konami. They have been churning out non-stop mediocrity ever since Hideo Kojima left the company. And the Metal Gear Solid Volume 1 collection is no different. This game is embarrassing. This collection is an embarrassment to anybody who has already played the originals. Now, this collection might be great for people who have never played the game before. You know, they never played Metal Gear Solid. Maybe they are younger and maybe they only have a Switch and that's the only thing that they could get to play on it. So, if you play the game that way, I guess that's not the worst way to experience the game. It's not like I'm going to go out of my way and call you a fake Metal Gear fan if you complete the game on the Volume 1 collection, but something has to be said about Konami and many other of these really lazy companies taking these classic games and repurposing them into a retro collection. And 100% of the time, these retro collections are outshined by community driven free emulators. And there's no exception to Metal Gear Solid collection. The problems with this collection are numerous, and many have to do with the resolutions that you can't change. It looks like that Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 are locked to 720p internal resolution. You can't change that unless you're on PC, which you can get a mod to remove that cap. But at that point, why not just emulate at that point? There's no display settings whatsoever. None in the collection at all. You are forced to run the game how the game wants it to run. You can't select full screen, borderless, or any of that. Apparently there's a way to press Alt and Enter on the PC version to get to windowed mode, but the game is run above 60 Hz, which renders the game unplayable. It'll run too fast. On the PC version, you cannot change the keyboard binds, and on Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, the controller changes that you make don't save. If you exit the game, your controller binds get wiped. This is extremely lazy. This is like the worst port I've ever heard of. Ladies and gentlemen, if it seems like I'm nitpicking here, well, it might be a little bit, but at whatever, $60? People are paying $60 for this collection. I expect Konami to at least try a little bit to at least match the parity of the emulators that we already have. If you own the game legally, there's nothing stopping you from going to your PC and just ripping the games onto your hard drive and playing the games the best way that they can be played. Now, you can't do widescreen hacks on this collection that we have to pay for, but you can get Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, all widescreen at the original game. There's no quality loss. It all just makes sense to emulate this and not buy this collection, especially this collection. Now, if this collection included Metal Gear Solid 4 alone, and it emulated well, or they remastered it in some way, I would say, yeah, $50 or $60 is going to be worth it. But what we're getting now is a bunch of ISO files in the most bare bones emulators Konami could possibly conjure up. I don't even know why they just don't up and use DuckStation. Why doesn't Konami just use these emulators that already exist and pre-configure them to make the Metal Gear games run really well? I don't know. Why don't they do that? PB, emulation is illegal. No, it's not illegal. If you own the games, you could literally just rip them on your hard drive and play them. It's completely fine. It's preservation of games. Don't hate on emulators. Hate on pirates. I'm not endorsing piracy. I'm endorsing the fans who want the best version of the game possible. And honestly, if these companies actually gave a crap about their product in these collections, it wouldn't be an issue. We wouldn't have to emulate. We would just buy the game and it would just work well, but that's just not the timeline that we live in today. Or ever, really. Actually, I take that back. There was a time when companies did care about the preservation of their old games. Sega used to be one of them, but they've kind of gone downhill too. But if you remember on the PS3 and Xbox 360, the Sonic Ultimate Genesis collection, that collection was so awesome. The only problem that I could see was it didn't have Sonic 3 and Knuckles combined. But that was a really stupid decision. But all the other things that they did with that game, they included so much promotional art. They included interviews from the developers of those classic games. They included Game Gear games that, aren't very good, but they included them. They just went out of their way to make a really good product for the fans. Nintendo actually used to be the kings of this with the Wii and the Virtual Console, but even the mighty have fallen there too. And Konami is just adding fuel to the fire. I really don't like how these collections are coming out. I don't think it's genuine that any of the Konami team actually has any Metal Gear Solid fans in the company at all anymore. When Kojima left, Metal Gear died, and everybody's talking about, the Metal Gear Solid 3 reboot, and I couldn't care less. The original voice cast is gone. They really made the entire game, in my opinion. Anything Metal Gear without Kojima is a knockoff, a bootleg, whatever you want to call it. It's not genuine. They really screwed up by screwing him over. And now Kojima's off making these weird-ass games like Death Stranding. I'm not like the biggest fan of that game. I really wish he would have just kept with Metal Gear if Sony would let him, and Konami. But total L from Sony and Konami. If you like Death Stranding, it's not a shot at you. I just don't think it's very fun. Now, we're going to see a Konami that cares about their products again. I really don't think so. Once they jumped ship to the gambling bandwagon, I think that was all over. I think that was the nail in the coffin, so to speak. Konami is no longer a video game company, or at least it's no longer a company that cares about video games. It only cares about money and the profit that these video games generate by preying on diehard fans that don't exactly know what kind of product they're getting, but maybe they don't care. Maybe all they want is Metal Gear Solid on the Switch, or they just want to buy it legally without any hassle. I get that, but you shouldn't be spending $60 for it. You shouldn't be spending your money telling Konami that this is okay. I really think it's scummy. It's stupid. We've kind of let this stuff slide for too long. Don't buy this collection, guys. I think that there's so many better ways to play this game, and objectively there are. So just use an emulator or something. Make sure you own the game legally, though. I wouldn't get your hopes up about Metal Gear Solid 3 reboot either. They're gonna hype it up, but once it comes out, we're all gonna see how shallow and hollow it is without Kojima. That's a fact. I could just tell you that right now. That's all from me, guys. Like if you like, dislike if you dislike, and leave a comment. Are you gonna buy the collection? What do you think? You think emulators are best? Let me know. I'll see you guys next time.